Hello?
David Lee here.
Oh my gosh, I have not looked at a phone so expectantly, waiting for it to ring since I was 16 years old, getting ready to go on my first date. I cannot express to you what an absolute honor it is to be on the phone with you, David Lee Roth. I have so many questions for you, but first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. You're the greatest.
Oh, I'm from the gas company. Who are you guys talking to? Hey, it's a pleasure. I pop right out of the record collection, holographically, magically, right? And how many movies have you seen of that? You open up the closet and a cowboy jumps out. And here we are.
Well, I am privileged to be talking to the Toastmaster General of the Immoral Majority as tickets go on sale for your Las Vegas residency at the House of Blues at the Mandalay Bay. How do you feel about this?
Well, I can make the Las Vegas residency way more memorable. There's a huge occasion happening. It took us forever to get this engineered properly. January 8th is Elvis's birthday.
So David Lee Roth kicks off his Las Vegas residency on Elvis's birthday. Fitting.
Well, it's a poetic that we should not have lost on us, guys. There is a symmetry there. I think as far as, style and attitude and what's going on, that what we do here is a little bit larger than just the music. Van Halen music is monstrously popular, well beyond a specific neighborhood anymore. It's cowboy hats and it's Spanish-speaking and, hip-hop-wise, I can't walk down the sidewalk more than 3 or 4 feet without somebody going, hey, you're that white boy. And yeah, I am that white boy. And it has transcended. To get to Las Vegas, you have to be universal. The music you got to have at least 5 songs that virtually everybody knows. Probably the best example of that is Tom Jones. What's New Pussycat, Delilah, Thunderball, everybody knows those tunes. We were fooling around, and I think I have 20, maybe 25 songs that everybody in the room was singing around with better than when I was. Does that make some kind of sense?
That makes perfect sense.
When you come to Las Vegas, it's not just a show, it's a weekend. It's 3 days. It's 4 days if you include the airport and recovery. And, some people have to make bail. That's 5 days. That's a big weekend. Starts with the all-you-can-eat Elvis buffet. That's how you're going to balance out the price of the tickets to the Cirque du Soleil. The style is, I was thinking of calling my show 50 Shades of Dave. We don't know. We're thinking. At least we're thinking. That's unusual.
I like Cirque du Soleil, Dave.
I am the attitude. I am the spirit of Las Vegas. Yes, a lot of people play rock and roll in Las Vegas, and they play it superbly. I'm going to go see Aerosmith, you bet. I know every word to every Journey song, you bet. But who is the attitude and the spirit of midnight when the show is over and everybody is guilty? Yeah, I said it. Oh! It's great that Ozzy Osbourne is the Prince of Darkness. I am the Duke of Larceny, and that begins at midnight.
Go on.
Please, talk to me.
Well, if you had to pick one moment where music really reached you for the very first time, would you be able to single that out and say what that was?
Well, I don't know if it would be the very first time, but I can think of a couple of the most momentous times. I'll go with this one. 1973, somewhere in that area, that follow-up summer, Bob Marley came to the United States for the first time. Nobody knew what reggae was. Nobody had any idea what reggae was. And all we knew is that was one of the most coolest-looking haircuts we'd ever seen. That the music was spectacular. That joint looked like it was a road flare. And that they were playing at a place called the Roxy in Hollywood. Small club right next to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and it holds about 500-600 people. And I said, at the time, because we in Van Halen were playing backyard parties and, nights of Pythias Hall and this kind of material, so we were putting out flyers. And I said, well, not only is Aerosmith a good audience to put flyers on cars under windshield wipers, but I just heard of a new kind of music called reggae, and you got to see this guy's haircut. It's amazing. I bet you it's a good audience for us. And I took a bunch of flyers that I printed up at Kinko's and my gaffer tape I had a special raincoat that was 4 sizes too big so I could put the gaffer tape like bracelets on my wrists and hide it under the raincoats because it was a misdemeanor to put up flags. And I went down to the Roxy, and I was baffled. Everybody seemed to know about it. I was a kid, but I was baffled. Bob Dylan was there. Yoko Ono, John were there.
Wow.
Ike and Tina Turner were there. They were still together at that time. And they were all in that audience. And somebody, the gods, smiled upon me. That back door, there's only one back door there on the side. They left the back door open. And I stood there, and it started to rain, and I stood there, and I listened to the entire first Bob Marley in the United States concerts with everybody else. I could hear it better than they could. I was closer to the stage than they were. And it made quite an impression in terms of this is international presence. There is no haircut, and I say it funny, but it's not funny, but it is, but it isn't. There is no haircut more international than dreadlocks. There is no music, not even rock and roll, that is more international than reggae. Reggae is what we listen to after the Metallica show. I've been on the bus. Trust me.
That's an amazing story. One of the first times music really reached me, I was a little kid. I had just started going to concerts. I saw David Lee Roth play Wembley Arena in London, and it blew my ever-loving mind, and I've never been the same ever since.
Well, now, if I had that haircut today, it would have its own Instagram, wouldn't it? I use that as an analogy because it's funny to think about. But I was a composite of British music hall, in a way, coming out of the 60s and 70s that sometimes folks are not apparently aware. We don't always pop the hood and show you the engine. We just drive and have ourselves a time, okay? But Van Halen was easily a super composite of Queen, Zepp, Who, Bowie. I can keep going here. And these were folks who were schooled in classic music hall. What routining? What does it mean? What do you wear on stage? What do you say in between the songs? What do you do while you're playing the songs? What don't you do? This is quintessentially way more European than American blues. However, if you ask me, what about your voice? I made no effort to imitate the front man in the Rolling Stones, poetically. I spent all of my time in 6th grade imitating 75-year-old dead African-American sharecroppers. And that's why I sound like today. Like this the House of Blues.
Oh, my gosh. This is the absolute greatest experience I think I will ever have. I heard you once say that if you couldn't do your show in your street clothes under one light bulb, you were inadequate and you should step off the stage. But if you got a cake cooked up big and fat and sweet, why not put a whole lot of icing on it? And I've seen you do your show in your street clothes when you were doing bluegrass versions of your music. And I've also seen that show at Wembley Arena where you surfed over an arena full of people into a boxing ring in the middle of it. And it was the single biggest, brightest, craziest thing I have ever seen. Which version of you are we getting at the Vegas residency?
Well, you get full blast, colorful. I started getting ready. My instrument is me, sort of like somewhere between tap dancing and boxing for a living. We are entirely dependent upon ourself, our rig, as our instrument. Learning to play a guitar or a piano takes easily as long, but dare I say it, when you have walking pneumonia or anything resembling a hangover, it's way easier to play a piano. Let's keep moving here. So I started getting my instrument ready last October on my birthday, religiously. And now, having reached that, I put together a rock band that represents all of my classics. I am the face of Van Halen at this point in time, and possibly continuing here. So we take that serious. Contrast the Diamond Dave, to contrast all that airborne color, big mile wide smile. You got to bring it with mixed martial arts style. I said to the band when we recruited, and there are 3 guitar players in there, keyboard, etc., that we're going to make this sound like the Van Halen records, okay? And that takes a lot of craftsmanship. These guys each have their 7,000 to 10,000 hours before they even came to the audition. These are world-class pros, and it took me 2 years to put them together here. And I said, you know what? let's give the band a name, but not a popular name, not a public name, just like Secret Society name, and we'll name it after the sound, because when you get it right, it sounds like the horses of God. And I say it without a smile, because I take it as seriously as all of you listening to this. How many of you got married to this music? How many of you celebrated the birth of your first kid to this music? How many of you heard this music, went off, signed up for the Marines? How many of you didn't come back? I know a couple of guys who had kids who are now Navy SEALs who have asked, literally, to be buried to Hot for Teacher. I don't know if I should laugh or if I should celebrate, or do I go, oorah? It's probably all three. But you got to take them all seriously. And that's what's in the undercurrent of music. Craftsmanship and thousands of hours of the no screwing around crew. And you contrast that with color and bombast, and you got something that'll last you 50 years.
Well, you have created so many parts of the soundtracks to all of our lives. I got to tell you, when I heard that you were playing solo, I got very excited, because as much as I love all the work you did with Van Halen, your solo albums, Eat 'Em and Smile, Skyscraper, A Little Ain't Enough, all of these records have these incredible songs on it. I think Damn Good is one of the greatest songs that ever has been or ever will be. Ladies' Night in Buffalo, absolutely nothing better. Will those songs be part of the residency as well?
I have 26, 30 songs that we'll be picking the menu from. In between the songs becomes an apparent part of it as well. All that storytelling, the illuminating, what I'm doing on the podcast over at the Roth Show. My mom is the sarcasm is one of the many services we offer here, all right? And that comes from my mom. The how are you today comes from my dad. He was a doctor.
Yeah.
My mom says she likes the in-between songs better. I said, because of the storytelling. She said, no, because you're not singing. even that element of humor creeps into it as well. And I have a rock band who doesn't have to learn anything. They grew up playing it. It was exercises in, here's your first guitar lesson. You want to learn rock? This is called You Really Got Me. It comes from 1965. It's in a Mixolydian mode, just like I learned when I was 11. So it becomes in the DNA. You work the corners, polish it up, and it's gone even beyond what my solo work is. I look forward to jamming with a lot of the celebs and the faces that cruise through town, because virtually everybody comes through Las Vegas now. It is the epicenter, the pivot of show business. The best sound, the best lights, the best room, and you get the crew having not 10-hour bus rides and a 4-hour sound check. You get to tune that room the way you tune a guitar. And you know what? You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a fish. The tuna fish you can get at any one of a million A-plus sushi bars, and they're right around the corner. And that's Las Vegas, baby!
Diamond David Lee Roth, Toastmaster General of the Immoral Majority. We cannot wait to see you at the House of Blues Mandalay Bay in January. You're the absolute greatest. You have not just made my day, you've made my week, my month, my year, my life with your countless contributions to the soundtrack to all of our lives. I could not have been more excited and privileged to talk to you. You once said the words, I chose to sail the seas of consequence, and those words had a powerful effect on me. I've been taking chances with my life ever since, and I think it's a richer, better thing for it. So you're not just countless songs from the soundtrack to our lives. You are a way of life. I cannot tell you how privileged I am to speak to you today. You're the greatest.
Thank you so much. You sound like we're going to have a little bit of fun backstage. Bring the crew, and I'll see you after the show. Let me see if I made good on any of these callous promises. Thanks so much, fellas. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Take care. Thank you, Dave.